What's up, everybody? It's Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and we're gonna find out if the Capita Aeronaut is a wise buy for you. So the Aeronaut is one board in Capita's lineup that increases in popularity every single year. It's Arthur Longo's pro model, and this 100% personifies his riding style. As you can see, it is a directional board. We have a longer nose, a little bit more of an elongated kick, and the tail obviously a little bit shorter, a little bit squattier kick there. When we go to the bend on this thing, it is very, very close to a traditional camber. It has a lot of camber throughout the middle of the board, and it almost goes from contact point to contact point, but it does have a small flat area right before you hit that widest point of the board. And the reason you do this is when you stand on it and you push it down, it helps lift that contact point up. So it is giving you a little bit of forgiveness, but most importantly, you're getting all the power exactly where you need it, but the board is still gonna wanna initiate turns nice and easily. It's not something that's gonna wanna jump on edge super quick just from the bend. It's gonna rely on everything inside of the board to do that, to get you from edge to edge. But again, when that board is transferring from your heel side edge to your toe side edge, it has a much easier, smoother feel than a board that's just full camber from contact point to contact point. This have a little bit more of a medium stiff flex overall, so it can fit a little bit wider range of riders. And then when we go inside of the board, it has their Panda hover core, which is a lightweight wood core, but it is souped up with these bamboo rods, which go from right about here in the middle of the binding pack out into the nose and tail of the board. And this is adding a lot of spring, a lot of pop, a lot of stability, because it's taking your bindings and actually making them feel like they're a little bit wider. So if you do land a little heavy on the front or a little bit heavy on the back, it's gonna wanna set you into that center stance position, but it's also adding a lot of spring and pop right outside the bindings. So you're not just flexing standard wood, you're flexing bamboo, which is incredibly strong and has a lot of return when you do flex it. And then wrapped around the core, we have a hybrid glass. So there is one layer of biaxial and one layer of triaxial. So we're getting all the smoothness that you need out of that biaxial glass, but you're still getting the power and precision and quickness out of that triaxial glass. And Arthur wanted to add some of their carbon flax amplifiers, but he does them in a little different way than they do in most of the boards. He does a V up in the nose of the board, but then he does a straight piece in the tail of the board. So this gives the nose a little bit more float, and it gives it a little bit more sturdiness when you're landing switch, especially when you're landing switch in some powder. But then in the back, having that big thick piece that just goes straight from the back of the board, tons of spring, tons of pop, and tons of power, but by not having it go across the board, it actually makes for a tail that steers very, very easily. And then of course, with Arthur going as fast and as big as he does, you gotta have that Hyperdrive ADV XT base, which is very, very durable. And then obviously, like we said, it is also wicked fast. But is the Capita Aeronaut a wise buy for you? Well, this is definitely for those intermediate to advanced riders who like to charge the entire resort like it's their park. It obviously has the nose and the tail of a free ride board, but the guts, the carbon, the mixed glassing, everything about the rest of the shape of this board really says freestyle. So it is something that you might take into the park every once in a while, but it's something where you're probably charging a little bit more on the groomers, hitting the side hits, and even getting into the powder. But if you got any questions beyond what we talked about, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel. And make sure to head on into your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the Capita Aeronaut for yourself. But if you don't have one nearby, no big deal. You can always hit them up at sunandski.com.